Apple might raise the pricing of the iPhone 18 Pro to keep its profits high. This opinion was shared by well-known South Korean leaker Youth1122, who said it was based on research from big global banks like Citigroup, Bank of America, and JP Morgan Research. One of Apple's main problems is that memory prices are going up, especially for RAM and NAND flash, which are important parts that are likely to make the iPhone 18 lineup quite heavy. Experts say that even if Apple's supply chain is very efficient and the firm has a lot of bargaining power, the present rise in memory costs is just too big for the company to handle without raising prices. Predictions say that Apple will probably make up for some of these costs by hiking the prices of the higher storage versions in the iPhone 18 series, especially the Pro and Pro Max models. Entry-level models may keep their existing prices, while devices with more storage space are likely to see small price rises dependent on their configuration. That means you'll spend more for more storage, maybe even more than you ever have before. Apple isn't the only company that uses this price strategy. As memory prices go up across the board, other smartphone makers like Xiaomi and Samsung are also likely to do the same with their next launches. The only other option would be to take on the extra expense to keep prices stable, which would immediately cut into profit margins, something Apple seems to be wary of. Reports say that Apple is aiming to find a middle ground by keeping the prices of regular models the same to calm customers and stabilize demand, while only changing the prices of premium models. Even so, early market data shows that overall iPhone shipments next year could go down as purchasers become more attentive about price. The jump in memory chip pricing is partly linked to increasing demand from AI startups. Analysts predict this trend to continue for at least another 2 years, showing persistent pricing pressure across the tech sector. In fact, Apple's own chief financial officer, Kevin Parek, officially confirmed in November that growing memory prices are pushing up production costs. However, he also underlined that Apple is well positioned because of its scale and long-term supply chain strategy. Will shoppers pay extra for iPhone 18? If the current rumor mill is right, Apple will release only the iPhone 18 Pro, iPhone 18 Pro Max, and possibly its first foldable phone in September 2026. Other iPhone 18 models will supposedly come later in April 2027. This means Apple is initially targeting the high-end market, purchasers who are more likely to spend much provided the value offered is strong enough. The iPhone 18 Pro is rumored to contain considerable technological enhancements, including the A20 Pro chip created on a cutting-edge 2nm process, offering major gains in performance and energy efficiency. The main camera may introduce a variable aperture technology, giving better control over depth of field and improved low-light shooting. Battery capacity may also see an increase to match growing user expectations, while the front design is reported to be redesigned with a new punch-hole camera configuration positioned to the left, offering a modern spin on past generations. Apple has also reportedly reached a partnership with Google to integrate new AI-powered capabilities into iOS, improving the intelligence and utility of the iPhone. These developments could be enough to convince a part of Apple's followers to accept higher prices, but some users may pick lower storage devices, continue with earlier iPhones, or perhaps miss the iPhone 18 series altogether. In a time of global economic uncertainty, any sharp price hike will be a key test of Apple's brand strength and its ability to convince buyers that innovation still warrants the premium. According to the latest claims from South Korea's tech industry, Apple is imposing new technical standards for high-end OLED panels in its next iPhones. This decision could open the way for considerable design modifications, starting with the Pro line. In preparation for its next-generation iPhones, Apple is rumored to be cutting down technological criteria for display components. A revelation from South Korea says Apple now needs under-display infrared technology, along with next-gen LTPO with OLED panels, exclusively for the next iPhone 18 Pro Max. Embedding infrared sensors beneath the screen is viewed as a vital step if Apple intends to minimize or finally eliminate apparent front-facing cutouts. Still, this doesn't necessarily indicate a seamless screen is arriving just yet. The transition represents a foundational architectural alteration, not an immediate visual transformation. Under-display infrared means the IR sensors, currently situated within the notch or dynamic island, which shift underneath the OLED layer. Face ID operates by shining infrared light onto the user's face to produce a depth map, which it compares to encrypted biometric data saved on the device. To produce an iPhone free of any notches or noticeable camera holes, the entire sensor system must function across several layers of display. Under-display infrared is the key to overcoming this substantial hardware barrier, which explains the rising industry attention, even in the lack of a proven commercial solution. But having the underlying technology doesn't automatically ensure a complete feature deployment. Apple might use a phased approach, burying only some of the sensors while others remain visible. A smaller dynamic island or simply a single camera hole would still accord with current speculations. In fact, Apple has investigated similar ideas in the past. Face ID under display has surfaced periodically in supply chain stories over the years, but it is often accompanied by inconsistent timelines and unclear descriptions. So far, none of these rumors have materialized into a true commercial iPhone design. Reports say only Samsung Display and LG Display now possess the capabilities to meet Apple's rigorous standards for both LTPO and under-display infrared on a mass production scale. As a result, the two Korean titans maintain their prominent roles in Apple's strategy for premium iPhones. Although Apple has spent years diversifying its display supply chain, bringing in firms like BOE for select models, veteran OLED producers still hold the upper hand when it comes to cutting-edge technologies. The under-display infrared adds another layer of intricacy. OLED panels inherently absorb and scatter infrared light, which limits sensor performance and raises production risk. To combat this, Samsung and LG have invested substantially in specialized materials and ultra-precise production processes to offer acceptable yield rates while keeping brightness, color accuracy, and durability. Their knowledge gives them an obvious edge, especially as Apple continues to raise the bar for display performance. Apple's push for under-display infrared reveals the corporation is ready for under-display Face ID, but that should not be misconstrued as assurance it will appear on the iPhone 18 Pro Max. Face ID is more than a single sensor. It involves an integrated system of infrared emitters, dot projectors, and receivers, all of which must operate in perfect harmony. Concealing all these components under an OLED panel while retaining speed, accuracy, and reliability, particularly in low-light circumstances, remains a daunting problem. The OLED layers restrict the quantity of infrared light that goes through, directly reducing facial recognition ability. Past reports have showed that Apple's roadmap for under-display Face ID has been frequently delayed, going from one iPhone generation to the next. Some sources have lowered expectations, proposing smaller QTouts or phase transitions. Others say a really seamless solution could still be years distant. Apple's hardware history demonstrates it's willing to wait until the user experience matches its requirements. Despite long-standing speculations, under-display Touch ID never made it to the iPhone. Even Face ID itself was rolled out gradually after years of refining. For now, Dynamic Island remains a pragmatic compromise, balancing engineering restrictions, front camera location, sensor needs, and UI design. So if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more exciting tech news and updates. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.